Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we are doing the Canelo versus Charlo Showtime pay-per-view preview, and I'm going to give predictions on that huge undisputed super middleweight title fight and the entire undercard. We're going to go in and discuss all of it. But before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. This card is pretty well stacked. I like it a lot from top to bottom. I think it's got some really good matchups, and I'm really looking forward to seeing every one of the fights, to be honest. And it's one of the rare times I get to watch a whole pay-per-view card. I'm always so busy with coaching and stuff, but this Saturday I'm free, I'm open, I can watch all these fights. So we start with the opener, which is a middleweight tilt between undefeated Elijah Garcia, southpaw, middleweight on the rise. He's 15-0 with 12 knockouts, as he takes on Jose Armando Resendez, who is coming off of a upset 10th round knockout victory over Jarrett Hurd, the former unified junior middleweight champ. Resendez he's 14-1, 10 knockouts. He wants to continue to build on that victory over Hurd by knocking off the undefeated Garcia. Garcia's got the height advantage, I think, by 1 inch. He's got he's got a 1 inch height advantage, and he's looking to continue his undefeated resume rolling with another win here over Resendez. I think he's going to get it, but again, Resendez is coming off of that win over Hurd in a fight that he was winning, and we're going to see if he's the real deal or not following that victory. So should be a good one to open the show. Middleweight division's kind of wide open, so Elijah Garcia is trying to stake his claim, and it should be a solid opener right there. Next up is going to see former welterweight champion of the world and Manny Pacquiao beater Yordenis Ugas, as he returns to take on Mario Barrios, the former junior welterweight champion at 140, secondary champion. They will collide for the vacant WBC interim welterweight title. So this is a big time fight right here for these two guys. You got Ugas, who is 9 years older. He's actually I want to say he's about 3 inches shorter, and the reach advantage also goes to Barrios, but Ugas is the superior boxer. So, but he hasn't fought in nearly a year and a half since that dominating 10th round TKO loss to Errol Spence Jr. as he attempted to unify belts. He's going in against younger, fresher Mario Barrios, 28 years old. Again, got the height and reach advantage. He's naturally the bigger guy. So is he going to be able to use that youth to his advantage to knock off Ugas? The winner here, in my opinion, is pretty much going to be your next WBC welterweight champion, because they're fighting for the interim belt. I think at some point Crawford, even if he fights Spence again, he's going to be vacating that WBC belt, in my opinion. And I don't see this fight. I don't see the winner getting a crack at him. So this will be huge for both fighters. For Ugas, it would be big because he's right back in the mix, and at 37, he really can't afford a loss here to knock him out of it. And for Barrios, I mean, it would be his career best win. He's been in a ring with Tank Davis. He's been in a ring with Keith Thurman. This is kind of his third opportunity against a solid name opponent and a former champ to try to prove himself. Should be good, but I'm very interested in seeing, because I didn't realize he had that distinct size advantage, did Barrios, and he's also 9 years younger. I did realize that, but I'm interested in seeing it. But I really think Ugas is going to figure out Barrios and outbox him, outwork him. I don't know if it's going to be as one-sided as Thurman and Barrios was in terms of the points and decision, but I do think it's going to be a convincing win for Barrios. But he also might, I mean, for Ugas, but he also might have to work his ass off for it. He might not, this might not be a slam dunk. So I'm looking forward to the fight, but I'm picking Ugas to win a decision here and become the WBC interim champion. But I will say this, I'm not going to be surprised if Barrios beats Yordenis Ugas in this one and stakes his claim. I'm not going to be surprised by that. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going Ugas to become your WBC interim champion again. Next, the co-feature, and this one I am very excited for. You have a big time showdown between it's a junior middleweight showdown at 154 between Jesus Ramos, the undefeated junior welterweight contender, taking on former world title challenger Erickson Lubin. Big time fight right here. You got the 22-year-old Jesus Ramos, 20-0, 16 knockouts, coming off of a big TKO win over Joey Spencer. And he's also got, you know, prior to that, he avenged his uncle's loss to Lucas Santamaria, getting a 10-round decision over him last year. And then it was either last year or the year before, he beat Brian Mendoza, who got the upset knockout victory over Sebastian Fundora earlier this year. So it's Jesus Ramos' time to make a splash. 20-0, 16 knockouts, and he's coming into this fight against Lubin, but Lubin is 27. He might be a veteran 27 because he started and was a hot commodity at 22 like Ramos, but Lubin, in my opinion, still has a lot in the tank, you know? Yes, a lot was taken out of him from that loss to Fundora last year. You know, that was an all-out war. It was my fight of the year. You know, it was very good back and forth action between the two. But Erickson Lubin, I'm a big fan of him. I have been for a long time. He does have the, I believe he has the height. I think he has a 1-inch height advantage. And I want to say he has a 2.5-inch reach advantage. He has to use that in this fight to be victorious over Ramos, who's busy. But Lubin has that special type of boxing ability and counterpunching, and he's a boxer puncher. He attacks as well. Honestly, I like Ramos, don't get me wrong, and Ramos could pull this victory out. I think he's a live underdog, or a live dog is what I should say, because I am not picking him to win this fight. I am picking Erickson Lubin to outbox and outwork the youngster Ramos and get a deserving decision victory here, as he will stay in the mix at 154 as one of the top dogs. But it really could go either way. I could see Ramos, if Ramos puts the pressure on him, I think Ramos could pull this victory off and get the victory here. But I just think Lubin's too much. I think Lubin, I think, hit it right on the head when he said this is too much, too fast for him. Stepping in against a guy on Lubin's level is just, it's a big, tall order, but it's not to say he can't do it. You know, Ramos, you're going to see if Lubin has that much left following the loss last year to Fundora. You're really going to see it in this fight because Ramos is a very, very live kid. He brings it, and we're also going to see where Ramos stands, you know, at 154, or what level he's on. So should be very good. I'm very interested in this showdown right here. But again, I'm picking Erickson Lubin to win this fight and to bounce back into the serious mix at 154. And then the main event, you got Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, the king of boxing in terms of, you know, the man that everybody, the money fight in boxing is Canelo. Taking on undisputed junior middleweight champion Jermell Charlo, who's moving up 2 weight classes to fight him. You know, Charlo has the height and reach advantage coming in, but the naturally bigger man is Canelo in terms of frame and all that kind of stuff, you know, and used to being in this weight. You know, there's a lot of fans saying that Charlo is good enough to beat Canelo. I'm sorry. You know, Canelo can sit there and admit that he's lost a step. Maybe he has, you know, maybe he's getting older, but I still think whatever Canelo's got is too much for Charlo. You know, I like Charlo. I just don't think he's good enough to beat Canelo, and I think Canelo's gonna pretty much dominate the action. Charlo's gonna have moments, but I don't think he has the power to hurt Canelo, and I don't think he's going to outwork Canelo. So I'm picking Canelo to break down Jermell Charlo and stop him. Charlo hasn't fought in nearly a year and a half, and I think Canelo's gonna expose the inactivity in between fights for Charlo, because it's been considerable the last few years, and I think Canelo's going to break down Charlo and stop him in the middle to later rounds and retain his undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. If you guys want to check out my breakdown video that I did on this fight a couple weeks back, go check it out. It gets into all these things in detail a little bit more between these two fighters. But again, guys, this is going to be a stacked card, and I could be wrong on every fight, but I'm picking Elijah Garcia by a stoppage in the middle to later rounds over Resendez. I'm picking Yordenis Ugas to get a unanimous decision over Mario Barrios to become the WBC interim welterweight champion. I'm picking Erickson Lubin to either decision or stop Jesus Ramos in the late rounds in their 154-pound bout that's the co-feature. And I'm picking Canelo to stop Jermell Charlo in the middle to later rounds to retain the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. So this Saturday, September 30th, Showtime pay-per-view, Canelo versus Charlo. This has been the Showtime pay-per-view preview. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.